The rain was a constant drumming rhythm against the window pane, a soundtrack to the silence that had grown between Elias and Clara. For 10 years, their love had been a sturdy, well-built house, filled with the warmth of shared jokes, the clutter of a life lived together, and the quiet comfort of knowing someone so deeply. Lately, however, a chill had crept in, a draft from a window they couldn't seem to close. It started subtly. Elias came home later, his excuses as thin and transparent as gauze. Work was crazy, he'd say, his eyes not quite meeting hers. His phone, once a shared device, became a fortress, guarded and private. Clara, a woman who had always trusted her gut, felt a sharp, cold knot form in her stomach. She tried to dismiss it as paranoia, as the natural ebb and flow of a long-term relationship, but the signs were too loud to ignore. The faint scent of a different perfume on his jacket, a sudden interest in a new obscure band she'd never heard of, a guardedness that replaced the open book he used to be. The truth, when it arrived, didn't come in a dramatic confrontation. It came in a text message, a name she didn't recognize, followed by a heart emoji, flashing on his phone screen as he slept. Her heart shattered not with a loud crash, but with a silent, agonizing crumble. She didn't scream or cry. She simply sat there, the light from the screen illuminating the devastation on her face. The name was Chloe. The next morning, the air in their kitchen was thick with unspoken words. Elias acted normal, too normal. He hummed a tune, poured his coffee, and asked about her day with a practiced casualness that felt like a performance. Clara watched him, a stranger in her own home. "Who is Chloe?" she asked, her voice steady and quiet, a stark contrast to the storm inside her. Elias froze. The coffee cup he was holding clattered against the saucer. The mask of normalcy fell away, revealing a man who looked terrified and deeply ashamed. He didn't deny it. He didn't even try. He told her everything, the words tumbling out in a rush of self-loathing and regret. Chloe was a colleague. It started as harmless flirting, a way to escape the pressure of his life, the routine, the feeling that he was just going through the motions. He said it didn't mean anything, that it was a mistake, a moment of weakness, but the words felt hollow. The truth was, it meant something. It had to, for him to have risked everything. The aftermath was a brutal, painful landscape. There were arguments, raw and filled with accusations, tears that came from a place of deep, unfixable hurt. Clara felt as though she were watching a fire burn down her life. She couldn't look at Elias without seeing Chloe's name, without feeling the sting of betrayal. She saw a future they had planned, a future filled with children and old age, dissolve into smoke. But as the days turned into weeks, something else started to emerge. Not forgiveness, not yet, but a strange, fragile clarity. The infidelity, in its own terrible way, had broken through the silence that had been suffocating them. They were forced to talk, truly talk, about the cracks in their foundation they had both ignored. Elias confessed to feeling lost, to feeling like he had lost his identity somewhere between paying bills and mowing the lawn. Clara admitted to feeling disconnected, to feeling like she had become less of a partner and more of a roommate. The healing process was slow and nonlinear. There were days when Clara thought she could never forgive him, and days when she saw the raw regret in his eyes and felt a flicker of the love she had for him, the man she once knew. Elias went to therapy. He read books. He tried with a desperate earnestness to rebuild the trust he had so carelessly destroyed. He brought her flowers, not as an apology, but as a small gesture of his commitment to the process. He started showing up again, truly showing up. He listened more, spoke with more honesty, and stopped guarding his phone. The story doesn't end with a simple, happily ever after. Some betrayals are too deep for that, but it does end with a question. Can a love that was shattered be put back together? Can the pieces be glued so carefully that the cracks, while visible, become a testament to survival rather than a reminder of a fall? Clara stood at the window, watching the rain finally stop. The sun was trying to break through the clouds, painting the world in a watery, hopeful light. Elias came up behind her and wrapped his arms around her, a familiar gesture that now felt different. more deliberate. She didn't flinch. She leaned into him, her head resting against his chest, listening to the steady beat of his heart. It was a sound that had once been her home. Now she realized it might still be. The house was damaged, but the foundation was still there. And for now, that was enough.